Is this kind of a busy season for you with like football coming up and then Sip Nebraska, I think just a few weeks away. Is that right?
Yeah, it really is. Really, May through November is really busy the entire time for us. But yes, we're getting ready right now for Nebraska home games for football.
Okay.
And then Sip Nebraska, which is at the end of September. So we've got 4 home games back to back, which we entertain corporate groups and individual fans. Been getting ready for that for about 3 weeks.
You're listening to Oh My Omaha, the podcast, where we uncover inspiring things about our community through the stories of inspiring people who call it home. I am Dee Harrell, and this is the creator of Oh My Omaha, the blog, and the blogosphere's friendliest face herself, Kim Reiner.
Hi there. Okay, so anyone watching on YouTube will see that it's just me today. Dee is off doing Dee things again. So I'm in the studio here with Stacy Leners, our guest today. She is with Blurry Events. Stacy is a Lincoln native with over 24 years of experience and expertise in marketing, events, hospitality, sales, and technology. As a graduate of University of Nebraska in Lincoln, she holds a master's degree in leadership education. And she has shared her knowledge as a faculty member in UNL's Hospitality, Restaurant, and Tourism Management program. In 2008, Stacy and her partner, Eric, founded Blurry Events, and since then, they've created experiences in 5 states, including the popular Sip Nebraska and hospitality events around Nebraska football and the College World Series. Stacy, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing today?
Doing good. I'm glad we're inside.
I know, it's still
out of the heat.
Like I feel like it should be fall already, but we've got a few more weeks, I think, of this.
We do.
Are you, is this kind of a busy season for you with like football coming up and then Sip Nebraska, I think just a few weeks away. Is that right?
Yeah, it really is. Really, May through November is really busy the entire time for us. But yes, we're getting ready right now for Nebraska home games for football.
Okay.
And then Sip Nebraska, which is at the end of September. So we've got 4 home games back to back, which we entertain corporate groups and individual fans. Been getting ready for that for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
On site. And then our 5th week after the first 4, then we have Sip Nebraska.
Okay. So
and
just
then
keep going.
Wrap it up with 3 more home games. So
what's easier to plan for you? Like a tailgate party or this big event with craft brewers and wineries?
That's a good question. I would say our football hospitality tailgates. Mm-hmm. And I say that only because it's really where the business started as a hobby like 18 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so we've been doing it so long. It's a lot of fun and it's a lot of work, but it's more top of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's probably the most simple as far as all of our events.
With a tailgate, like what's a perfect tailgate, or what do your customers kind of enjoy about what makes a great tailgate, I suppose?
For football.
Yeah.
You know, we entertain, a lot of Husker fans, and we love having the opposing team fans come in. So whether it's, a bachelor party, an anniversary, a reunion, or a corporate group, the perfect tailgate is just everybody having a good time. And, it's fun that we're all cheering on, 2 different teams, and, it just... That's what makes a good tailgate. But we take care of everything for everybody, so it makes it easy for our guests.
They just show up and...
We take care of all the food and drink you could eat, the entertainment. We have lots of new entertainment this year. We're really excited for Saturday.
So when you say like entertainment, how big are your tailgates? And do you have like live music and stuff? Is that what you mean? Or what do you...
Good question. No, we don't have live music. Okay. We have a DJ, and we have like 15 TVs with like 4 different viewing locations. When I mean entertainment, we have some new things this year. We've always had the standard kind of lawn games.
Okay.
Your bag toss, your jumbo Jenga. We have foosball. This year we have a dartboard, some different styles of games like that.
Okay.
We've added all new furniture, and we're just kind of excited to kind of change it up a little this year after so many years.
Is that similar do you do similar things for the baseball for College World Series? Or do you are baseball fans a little different or have different expectations, I suppose?
Yep. Baseball fans are a little different in the sense that we entertain corporate groups from all over the country, as well as different teams that are coming into town. Like this year, we entertained Tennessee. Last year's LSU, the year before Ole Miss. So that's fun. But our corporate groups are coming in from all over. I'd say 90% of our attendees are those groups. And we have quite a few that have been returning groups for probably close to 10 years. And they have their special day, their specific day. So it's unlike Nebraska football where we're all rooting for the same team. A lot of them they'll start booking in October, November for June. So they make sure they get their best, their favorite day.
So it's not necessarily for a team, it's just the
exactly.
atmosphere.
So
Okay.
that's the difference. A lot of the amenities are the same. The Omaha event is a little larger in scale. We own a lot of our own equipment, so it's a lot of the same amenities. It just feels a little bit probably a little higher end, just that particular, the location and just how we build out that particular event.
And how did you start doing it? I guess you said it was started from a hobby kind of, but like, I guess, how did you fall into this?
No, good question. So Eric, who is my business partner and fiance of, 24 years.
Okay.
So we met in our early 20s, still in college. He comes from a big football family. His dad threw a big tailgate every weekend, like, half of Lincoln does. And his mom would cook and they'd invite all their friends. So he grew up going to all the games, and the family was he had a big family. So it was just all about entertaining. And so when I met him, I kind of got sucked into that world. Like I'm an only child, came from a very small family. Dad's a retired farmer now and not big into sports. And so it was a lot of fun. But then we were in our probably mid 20s. His parents were, they're like, we're ready to move on. We don't want to do this anymore. Eric and his other siblings, your friends are moving back. We're just, we're tired of providing for everybody anymore. So it was about that time, Eric and I kind of took it over, him more so than me, just as a friends and family tailgate on our own. Moved to a different location for 1 year. Had over 200 friends and family behind one truck. And that parking lot was like, no, that's not going to work for us. So we ended up moving to where we're at now. And where we're at now, we've probably been to about 18 years, and we've tripled in space since we started. So it was definitely a friends and family thing. Eric and I were both, until we started Blur in 2008, we were both in marketing and sales. Myself more so in marketing. Eric was in technology sales, and his background, he had a lot of customer service and banking. He was a branch manager. And I did more of the marketing side of things for corporate groups. So what happened was we grew that space quite a bit. Once again, just friends and family. Bought a couple things here or there, trailer, TV, nothing major. And then some friends of ours, when they built TD Ameritrade Stadium back in 2011, said, why don't you guys do this for the College World Series? And we'd always thought about maybe starting something because we both enjoy entertaining people. And things were just kind of falling into place. And so we said, okay, let's do this. So I left. So I was no longer working full time. Was just myself doing Blur for the first 4 years before Eric was able to come on full time. Worked out of a coffee shop, out of our garage, started building up our equipment inventory and just the tools and the clients. And then we started doing different things. We started selling like game tickets and having hotel partners and transportation, so we can do everything for our clients.
Nice. For
an entire game day experience. And we took that concept that we built up in Omaha the year they built TD Ameritrade, and they expanded the space in Lincoln, and then created both of those kind of hospitality events. At the time back then, there wasn't a whole lot out there. There was a lot of places for groups and companies to entertain, but it was like a ballroom in a hotel, which is great, but we're just a little bit different where we're bringing that large scale tailgate. I mean, we're not behind a truck anymore, and we haven't been for over 15 years, but it's kind of, we bring that large school.
It sounds like a backyard party event. Kind of like, that's fun.
Yeah. centered with. And so that's kind of where it all started. We've just kind of grown from there.
And then Sip Nebraska, how did that kind of come about? Is that something in line, like, are you a big fan of local beer or local wine, or how did that develop?
We definitely like our local partners, and we have a lot of them. Love to support local. That really came about, we were just focused on, the Lincoln and Omaha sports at that time. This was in 2013. Actually, the Nebraska Winery and Grape Growers Association approached us.
Okay.
They were referred to us. They wanted to start a wine festival. And so we went round and round, and it took about a year, and that event came to life. And so, it wasn't really something we were thinking about.
Yeah.
It was, brought to us, hey, let's partner and do this. And so, 2014 launched the first year. And since then, it's now, we just finished up, I think, I'm losing track, 11th year out at Mahoney State Park in the spring. But through that, there's been some changes. We did eventually just do things that we heard from our guests. We added on craft beer and spirits and distilleries. So now craft beer, spirits, cideries.
Yeah, so it started out as wine and then it's just kind of grown.
So now we have all Nebraska beverages, alcohol beverages. And so that's fun. So we love working with all those groups. And it's a little bit something for everybody now at the event.
There's a different taste. Do you visit any of those places, like any of the partners, any wineries or breweries before they come on board, or just since you met them during the Sip Nebraska and decided I want to come visit? They seem like cool people. Have you gone out to many of them around the state?
I've been to a number of them. No, I have not been to all of them.
There's a lot now.
I will say in my 20s, my girlfriends and I, we loved wine. So back when we had a little bit more time on our hands, we visited a lot of the wineries in Nebraska. But I'd say of our vendors, and I think we had, every event's different, but I think we had 28 beverage vendors this last spring. We have, and then we also do the event. We started actually during the pandemic in 2020, a fall version in Lincoln. And so every year it's a little different for each. It just really depends on their calendar, their staffing. Spring's a little bit tougher for the wineries because it's harvest time. So it really depends, and center the spring date around football. So bye week, off week. So between all of them, I've probably visited 60% of them, I would say. Haven't been able to get out as much.
Do you have any favorites, or any that you kind of come to mind when you think of like a great atmosphere or a good view?
That's a good question. A lot of them, I don't necessarily have a favorite. A lot of them have so many different unique pieces. One thing I experienced a couple of years ago, Gento Wines is one of close to Lincoln, north, and they have a fun little maze and I'm not sure if they have it right now, but a little maze that they carved out in their field. I think it's like a 1 or 2 mile walk. So you can come out and just do a walk, and then, end your time with a glass of wine or whatnot. So they all have just a little bit unique, some have little amphitheaters, and they have different live music. I know like Glacial Till out at their location, they bring, food trucks out there. Different things to bring people out for the weekends.
So I've only been to like their tasting room, but I love Glacial Till. It's like everyone I tell, like it doesn't matter if they're in Nebraska or not. I'm like, seek it out. They're so good. So.
And the newest one I'm so excited was in the spring, Vala's Pumpkin Patch. They now have a cider.
Yes.
They've had a cider for a while, but they utilized Sip out at Mahoney in May for the first time ever to sell it off the farm.
Yeah.
So that's was big. Really fun. So I haven't actually, I've been to Vala's Pumpkin Patch, but I haven't been there to try their cider, and I kind of do that this fall.
It's good.
Yeah. Oh, you have?
Yes.
So
and it's great because I end up going to Vala's usually early in the fall, but like it's still kind of warm, and so a nice cold cider is it's nice. It's refreshing. So highly
there's
recommend.
So many unique beverages out there. So
yeah, definitely. How has like the scene, like winery scene, especially, I guess, since that started Sip Nebraska, how has it changed? Like, have you noticed trends, or just like, for me, I've noticed it's changed because there just seems to be more of them. There's more craft breweries, more wineries, but like, have you noticed any other changes or?
The wineries, and I am just speaking just by what I've read and what I've talked with our partners about, not really experience. But when it comes to wineries, it takes many more years to start up a winery. Mm-hmm. So I've seen a couple, close. I've seen a couple new ones, but in Nebraska, there's always been roughly within the 20s, like 23, 24, 25 wineries. Okay. The biggest trend definitely the last few years is breweries and distilleries. A couple of years ago when we had distilleries, I think there were maybe 3 or 4 in Nebraska. Yeah, I think we had 8 join us this last spring. So those were popping up along with the cideries. Yeah. But breweries, I feel like, so popular.
It is.
Nebraska.
So like,
I love craft beer.
With the, me too, like I'm more of a, I'll try anything, but I'm more of a beer fan. But 20 years ago, when my husband and I were still just dating, and we did fundraising for team and training. So we would train for a race, and then we'd have a fundraising element. Yeah. And we came up with the idea of doing a beer tasting, and I think and it was great because it was still kind of new, the beer scene, and we maybe had 8 breweries, and I think Kevin had to drive out to Cortland, Nebraska, I think, for one brewery. That was the furthest he went. Because they would participate, we had to go get it.
Oh, wow.
And then now we just joke about it. We can never do that because there's just so many more now that have popped up, and it's great. But
there are.
We're starting out, and it's how many? There aren't very many breweries to choose from to invite. So
I couldn't even tell you now. I think we did a count a year or two ago. There are 40 some, possibly.
Wow. Okay.
But they're all so unique. The ones that do come out, though. I mean, it's not a copy and paste scenario.
Exactly.
I
Some
feel like
get
they're
really
all
inventive with flavors.
Are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's some unique flavors, which is fun. Mm-hmm. So we try what best we can to have some of those local. It doesn't always work out 100% at our Nebraska events for football or College World Series, but we try to intertwine some of those local elements when we can, because it kind of a lot of times it depends on the distributor we're using, and we have a liquor license too, but kind of there's a lot of little nuances to it, but we try to bring in some of that flair for a lot of the fans that are joining us that are maybe from different areas of Nebraska or College World Series, people that are from, they're all over the country.
State, yeah. Mm-hmm. So what's Sip Nebraska like? So, assuming it's not just sitting at a table and drinking a bunch of stuff. You have other activities throughout too, right?
We do.
So what's the fall one like in Lincoln?
The fall, I would say, is probably a little bit more slimmed down version than the spring one, but the fall we always have live music. So we have local bands throughout the course of both days. We have food trucks, so there's food. We have different kind of lawn games and the outdoor elements. We have educational, we call Sip and Learns now. We used to call them educational sessions, but Sip and Learns where we have different things, went from making a charcuterie board or pairing your favorite beer with a particular type of food. And our spring one has even more. It's a larger space, and so we have trolley tours throughout the park. We reserve 80% of the park, so our guests have first right of refusal of staying out at a cabin or a lodge room or bringing their RVs. So we do all that in-house, take all the reservations for the park just so we make sure our guests have first right. So it is a little bit more expanded out there just with our space and a little bit more unique elements. But even both of them, we'll have dance lessons. We have goat yoga, just different things that keep people there. So you're not just coming and sitting at a table, having a couple tastings. You can get up, walk around, do some other things, and then head back. So a lot of people, especially the one at Mahoney, they spend both days because there's so much. They just kind of come and go. Lincoln more so, just more of it's a 2-day event, but people more come for 1 day. Okay, but there's enough to keep somebody there a good chunk of the day.
Totally. So let's talk about Lincoln. So you're from Lincoln originally and live there now. Tell us a little bit about some of the best kept secrets of Lincoln, like things that. So a lot of people from Omaha will go down to Lincoln for a day. They'll go down for a game, or they'll go down to the zoo, or just they have their spots that they go to, but they might not venture out so much. So what are some of the places that locals love?
Sure, that's a good question. Well, we're definitely not as expansive as Omaha, but we do have, we have, great some local restaurants, which, Omaha's plethora of. I love coming up to Omaha just because we feel like there's so much to do up in Omaha. But no, Lincoln's fun. I mean, there's definitely good restaurants, some fun, good local speakeasies and bars that, just locally owned. So they're not, not in Omaha. They're just hidden away in Lincoln.
Speakeasies? I don't think I've known of.
There's the other room. Oh, no, wait, I forget the name of it. There's 2 down in the Haymarket. There's one, Sideshow Distillery that's also part of Kincaidor. So Sideshow has their own distillery bar on, I believe,
in Haymarket,
East Street. Nope, it's off. No? It's just south of the university, downtown. And they have their own little kind of speakeasy in the back, and that's fun. You go in, you don't really know it's there unless you've heard about it, or they tell you about it when you walk in. So, just trying to think. You've got, the Lincoln Zoo, which is always fun to go to. I think they're doing brews at the zoo this weekend. That's cool.
Do you have a favorite restaurant? Like, are you a regular anywhere, or?
Gosh. I wish we would. This sounds horrible. We don't get out a whole lot. I feel like we're always working.
Yeah.
We try. Oh, gosh. One of my favorites is probably Vincenzo's.
Okay.
Italian. Yeah, down in Haymarket. That's if we get out and about for a nice evening. That's always fun to go to.
How about like the food trucks that come to Sip Nebraska? Do you get a break during the event to go and like try any of those? Do you have?
Oh, definitely.
Or any that you like? You've got to get this food truck in. Do you have any of those favorite ones? Or
so Lincoln's a little different. Lincoln doesn't have as many food trucks as Omaha and the surrounding areas. So out at Mahoney, we have a little bit larger lineup of food trucks because there's quite a few in Omaha that the licensing is unique in Lincoln, and so we have fewer probably in Lincoln. Yes, we do take breaks and sample, and we all have our favorites of what we have to get, each season and from which food truck. But no, we all of our vendors, we have a lot of artisan vendors too. We open it up and we have vendor
like
forums.
for shopping and stuff. Oh,
yeah, cool. I guess I didn't mention that too. So yeah, outside of just going and having your samples, like the spring, 28 different, that's a lot, and then each of them have 4 to 6 different things to sample. It's a lot of beverages. Yeah. So taking a break in between is nice. So we have a lot of artisan vendors and boutiques and, gourmet popcorn and pastries and different things to sample and shop. So
awesome.
You kind of bounce around back and forth from having your tasting. So we do that both in spring and fall.
Cool. So, yeah. Do you have any, once things start slowing down for you, do you have any fall plans or winter plans? Like, what do you do in the off season?
Personally?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. So our off season is really that November time frame. Well, whenever football's done, November time frame till about February. We have a small staff. It's Eric and myself. Right now we have 4 full-time staff members. Okay. So when it comes to our events, we have a lot of, past employees, past interns. We have a new intern this fall actually, so we'll have another employee that come and help work those events. So it's not just the 6 of us setting these events up and running them. We're there and we're managing it and we're doing a lot of the work, but then we usually have anywhere from like 15 to 20 additional people to help. But in the off season, we're back in we have a warehouse too. So we own majority of our own equipment. If you've seen our event at the College World Series, like the large tents and things of that nature, tents at Sip Nebraska, we don't own tents. I don't know if we'll ever get into that world. Okay. And we don't like portable restrooms. Everything else, most of it through the years, we've constructed. The guys or the team in our warehouse have constructed equipment to best fit our events that we just can't find anywhere else. From custom TVs to the AV equipment that runs our events, it's all. We have friends that are programmers behind the scenes. Yesterday we were on the phone with somebody out in Vegas for 4 hours. He helps program some of our stuff. So we've got the contacts and resources. That's where Eric's expertise from all those years in the IT world comes in. So what was your question again?
Oh, so do you have any plans this fall or off season? Like,
yeah, so off season we're in there. So we're you're building new equipment,
or repairing,
fixing, cleaning, or we're in the office. It's just myself and one other person in the office, and we do all the pretty much accounting, marketing, booking clients, working with clients. So we focus on we're short time frame where we have to do that, and then we get ready for our event in May. And I think we've between our one employee that's with me in the office right now, I think we've clocked 10 days in the office since May.
Okay.
So we front load it and get it all ready for the year. And so it's good and bad. So we're out on site working a lot, but then we have a lot of office work to do to catch up on, a few months after everything's over. So, but no, Eric and I, our before the pandemic, I learned to ski. So we'd snow ski in the winter. So that was really, really only our break time. So we did that for a few years. Haven't been back since the pandemic, really. Otherwise, we try to take a little trip right after the College World Series because we come up here and our whole team lives up here for about 5 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we go back and we all have about a good week to 2 weeks off because we're okay. We all need a break from each other and just work.
People.
So so we all kind of take little vacations.
Yeah, I bet. Like it's got to be so hot. Like the College World Series has the most
warm,
extreme weather sometimes. Like it's either super hot or you guys get a storm.
This year was more rain than we've had in a long time. So that made us struggle with just tearing everything down. Okay. Everything was...
But luckily, so you have tents at least so that if it rains, everyone's fine.
So the rain was fine. We had a rain day on that Tuesday, right in the middle. And that's actually always one of our largest days. We have a lot of corporate groups that love to join us on Tuesday. It's just kind of their day. Okay. And it's always a lot of fun. What ended up being rain delays that day, there were no games. So everybody just partied it up hardcore in the tent.
It's fun.
It was fun. So, but yeah, so we don't have a whole lot of...
Catch your breath and...
catch your breath, take a break, get things caught up around the house and spend time with family over the holidays. We all have a good week or 2 weeks off over the holidays. So our team we give people a lot of time off because they work so hard all the other times. So spend time with family, catch it up.
All right. So on the podcast, we ask the same question to all of our guests. I might change it a little bit for you. So we always ask kind of where they find inspiration, where they live in Omaha. And so where do you find inspiration in Lincoln or in Nebraska while you're doing your stuff? For yourself, like what inspires you? It's kind of a very open-ended question. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah. Well, I know for our business, inspiration, especially through the years for us, has been just all of our amazing partners we work with. So we also have done events in about 5 states.
Right. Okay.
And we're actually going down to Tennessee in October to talk with the university down there to do some work. So what inspires us is seeing what everybody else does. Because Eric and we always like to say at our age now, we live in a bubble. We don't get out very much. And so when we do, it's just so cool to see what other people are doing. So what inspires us is just working with great people and our partners and our team and just constantly brainstorming and trying to think outside the box and getting out there and seeing what's new.
So if you could expand your business, like what would you do? What would you do next? Like
Well, we do a little bit of consulting, not a whole lot. We really haven't done a good job at all marketing it. We have in the past done for a couple larger companies in Nebraska, we've done kind of one-off projects for them in our off time. So a handful of years ago, we did an event in July. It was right after College World Series, right before football for Kawasaki, a big event down in the rail yard in Lincoln. Okay. It just made sense. We knew the right people, and it was just, we have the resources, and we're able to pull it together. Last fall, we did one for another client of ours out in Norfolk. It was a 700-person 50th anniversary luncheon in a tent. So, it made sense. Once again, with the timing, with just our resources. We had part of our team in Lincoln, actually, the day they had that particular event, the very next day, we had a home game. Well, all of our equipment's pretty set in place for the fall. So it was a lot more rental for that particular event, but we were able to pull that together. So trying to do a little bit more consulting for the clients and the, just the people out there that need a little bit more of assistance, maybe they don't have a team in place that where we can help. And then, like I said, in a couple months, we've been speaking with a couple teams outside of Nebraska as well.
So like possible, like you would, if you can clone yourself, do more tailgates at other universities and
possibly, or once again, kind of more of the consulting.
Oh, okay.
So the one team that's having us down, it's more of the consulting. We entertain them through their national championship here in June, and there are a lot of elements that they were, for us, we feel like we do it all the time. It's not that impressive, but they called us for like, please come down and please come to one of our tailgates and see what you think and what else we can do.
Okay,
and so I'm
cool.
like, okay. Yeah. So, I don't know because of our schedule with Nebraska, unless we just stop doing stuff for Nebraska football, which I don't think would ever happen. It would be more on that consulting side of things. It's not like we'd have the fall season to also,
right.
I don't know. You never know, but we're just trying to keep our minds open.
Perfect. That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And good luck going into the fall.
Thank you. Yeah, if you're in Lincoln, stop.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for listening to Oh My Omaha, the podcast. We want to thank our guest, Hurrdat Media, all of you for your support, and the Omaha community at large.
So from Dee and I, keep on exploring.